There's
Like driving my car. I don't think he's up to drive.
Well, when factory she used to have.
town hall. So,
Oh, he's talking about some.
Yes.
thank you.
Them, yeah. For the
Oh, okay.
late that hell.
I thought we were talking about the party bus.
No, they have driver for that, I think.
And we're gonna use the party bus also.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was just thinking last year, when I went on the thing, I was talking to her, I was like, some of the driving houses are so congested, and so hard to get, nice to let it show, so. So,
So we're gonna do that.
Yeah, London parking.
Very limited parking.
$30. Well,
We
Congratulations.
unified,
Of the United States of America.
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
motion for minutes from last meeting.
Nick Rosen, we will miss you last week.
Second,
So,
all in favor? Follow up on ordinance violations.
Ordinance violation update, 402 Weston Street, there's a $50 fine for an abandoned vehicle letter. 555 Jefferson Street, there's a $100 fine for an unvaccinated dog. 355 Bernice was the same $100 fine for an unvaccinated dog. 102 Weston Street was a $50 fine for the nuisance drive in the front yard. At 155 Martin Street, they got a $50 fine for the nuisance hot tub in the yard. At 399 Jefferson Street, that was resolved with a letter to leader from the nuisance. And then for the abandoned vehicle on 160 North Street, it was resolved by being tagged.
Good job, guys. We appreciate it. Sometimes the city ordinances get overlooked and people wonder what's happening, how come it's not getting taken care of. Important. Sewer rate study.
Me and I have a meeting with them on the 30th, to discuss that. We want to go ahead and have the rate books or the books already put in. I don't know that we're gonna have enough time to have that meeting, have the next town council meeting, and then get them printed out to people.
What's the delay in this study? I mean, we went out early enough that it should have been exact last month.
Well, yeah, we tried to have it even this week, but it didn't work with their schedule.
Okay.
person. Most.
Between now and December.
Okay.
They usually get them in December, so they knew what their payment's going to be in January. We still will go with that increase with the ordinance that we have put in place.
Okay. And that would have been.
It's a $10 increase. Isn't that correct? Lexi? And then I think that's what we agreed on.
I think that's.
And we'll have to leave it at that until we get our study there. (2026) budget adoption. One of the items on here, Lacey, is that the fund for the police department?
It's law enforcement continuing to have. So yes,
That will in, or shouldn't all those things in there go on to the general?
not that will not in. That is one of our line items that we have. When they get donation money in, and when they, isn't that donation money? It is,
Yeah.
and it's used specifically for their training. So what they're ending is gonna be the local option or the local lit. And those are the same kind of line items that would be in general budget. Except some of those were moved out when it was given to us in 2016. So those line items will have to be moved back into general in the next couple of years. Because they're not gonna be funded otherwise. So, and Heidi, we looked over it, but I don't remember specifically what the line items are, but so you don't have the line item budget out here. So there's like, I think there's 6 line items that have to go back in general. And Heidi's looking at, areas where we can cut. Trying to get those back in. We'll probably have to cut more because we're gonna have less money. So
Have you heard whether the SB 112 passed?
it passed. It's now called SE Senate Enrolled Act. One, I think. So Ben Hassel, we attended 2 meetings this last week. On this issue. One was with Suklik at the county council meeting, because the way they got this set up is county council will have to be the ones to adopt a local option of tax for us, for towns that are under 3,500. So we're basically gonna be begging them to adopt a tax for us so we can continue to operate.
But we
We won't
don't have
be
any, we don't
we
have
won't
a
be the
clear
only
projection.
We won't be the only ones doing that. Because what the state's doing is they're basically taking away what their control over it was. And they're saying they're giving it to the locals, but they're only giving enough control. Let's just put it, they're not giving us the same amount of money to work with.
Yeah.
We're cutting the dollars and then they're telling us they're giving us control, which I don't really see how those two go together.
I don't even.
In their minds, it works out. So that's what.
Do we-
only asked the county for 1.2.
But it's 1.2%, and that is taken over all of the small towns in Milton. So we're not getting 1.2%. We're gonna, if there's 6
It
of
will be
us,
shared.
we're getting 1.2% divided by 6. So at the last, Ben had a meeting about it and some of the things that are in the bill that people don't realize. And actually, the assessor didn't even know about it until he already put through his numbers for this year's budget. Saying the county starts earlier than we do
Yes. I know.
to get all their stuff together. And so that bill was approved after they had already sent their numbers in. And in that, it says that people who had deductions or credits, I don't know what they call them, because I don't get one, but for solar or geothermal, those are all going away. So if you bought those items thinking you were gonna get a credit for it, you no longer will get that, and that went into an action this year. So this 2026, that deduction's taken away. On that. And he talked about a couple other things. Those were the big ones because there was no warning on that. So because he said he could have, because assessors do have some leeway and things that they can do differently if they know about them. All within confines of the rules, but they didn't know ahead of time. They could like something blow it all. And then we all know that homestead credits changing.
Yeah.
And then that'll be offset with their income tax going. So basically what he said is those that make that have the higher income houses will see more of a credit or money back than those that have a house that's 70,000. Their property tax will go up along with their income tax. Will go up.
Nice.
So I think hopefully they're not done looking at it and they're gonna make some changes because a lot of stuff's already being found. And, but I know that Sue
Are
did
they
say,
given a rough idea of how much of the budget cut we're going?
well, Paul did ask Ben if there was any way he could figure some numbers for us, and he said he could do that, so we're just waiting on him to get back with us to see. And they won't be totally correct, but maybe it'll give us a parameter to tell how much we'll have to cut.
well, grant or something to work with would be great.
It would be.
Yeah.
But when Sue Glick was at the meeting with the county council, keep on Sue.
Well, my concern was that it diminishes per year until we reach 78. I mean, 20.
28 or 2030.
Mhm.
But Sue Glick said they're not done looking at it. They are still working on making changes, so we'll just put a hope in that.
Okay.
Changes will are still to come, hopefully.
Right.
It's best if you would like to see it. Do you have any questions about this budget? Any questions about the budget?
What's it, what?
It's the funding that comes from Yankton.
And you can see there's not much money in that. That was a line item for the hell out of the riverboat gambling. We don't have that anymore, so that money goes away too. But we have 2,000 on it or something.
65.
65. So I mean, we knew that was going away. Actually, it has been funded for a couple of years, hasn't it?
Yeah, we just got a check for it and we hadn't gotten one for a while, just with the last.
Maybe they're just finishing it up. One of the other things they did say about that local option income tax, though, and I keep on saying local option, income tax comes from the federal government.
Okay.
Our numbers get sent to the federal government then disperses the money to the states, and then the states disperses the money down to us. They're not really efficient at getting the money out. And the reason I say that is because the county sheriff's department gets money for each prisoner.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you know how many years ago they decided that the local jails were gonna house some of the state.
Yeah, we started that right before I left, so it would have been 2019.
Okay, so they started doing that and then they would reimburse the counties for holding these prisoners in the local jails. They are still waiting for their money from last year.
Wow.
So not feeling real good about this new system they're putting in, but I'm hoping they'll get it together.
Yeah. I think that and out IOUs.
I don't know. Well, the county just, I think, has put a halt on bringing any more in because they don't have any way to pay for the people they have because they don't have the money. They can't take in any more until they get the money.
Okay.
Yeah, is there a good number on that?
Ordinance or resolution for appropriations, tax rates.
So it should be ordinance number 2025-04. For the budget for 2026. You
You
are
have a motion for the ordinance 2025-04.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 2025-04.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
All right.
Discussion of staggered election terms.
Gonna yell.
Well, I mean, I've looked into the stuff on trying, change over the election stuff. I'm still not entirely sold. There's no cost to us. We can feedback. Couple issues right now. It looks like our terms are 3 years. We probably have to change those to 4 years to stay within. Otherwise, we still have an off election that's going to, would coincide with general or primary or do 2-year terms. Somehow stay. We got to jump to even there. Yep.
Is the state making this go to even terms? Are they, because I know they're messing around with the election stuff too.
Well, I'm just saying presently though, the normal term is what, 3 years?
They're 4 years,
They're 4 years.
4-year terms,
Oh, okay, sorry.
and we're up
It's
at,
just that our year is off from the president.
So we accepted. So we'd have to change them for a short stint to get over to equal, get over the year.
This board would have to set for 5 years.
Yeah, we'd have to find a way to get, to jump into the, into the general and primary.
Have you heard of anything that they're talking about doing? Because I know I've heard some stuff, but not anything specific. I know they were talking about on the referendums that those had to be done during other elections. They could not do them on off years.
There was something
That just came through, or that was just being discussed. And I'm not sure why, but I think maybe it had to do with the cost of having it on and off election. Because I know Central Mobile just did theirs and it was not passed.
Well, there, what she had, for Republican. It was here, she was talking about, there is a code section that allows us to, we have to do an ordinance during 2026 to create essentially a 1-year term. For like the next term would be a 1 year to get us over the, start back on the board again, so we have to do that and then change it to this, so we have to do a whole ordinance to change over the. Elections, all that kind of stuff, so.
So you'd be looking at 28. If we didn't do staggered.
Yeah. Then the other question is then everybody would be on the same term, so all 3 members would be out at the same time, which would.
Which is what they are currently, which is what we probably should move away from.
Yeah, because there's always the potential that you have 3 board members coming in and the kind of so scary, but I don't know how you do that. I mean, but put 1 off and gets, 3 members, you can have somebody in the other 2 years, but then you saw an election every 2 years, so it kind of adds to the chaos.
Be better than having an election every 3 years.
Yeah, well, yeah, you said it, but then we'd have an off year where we'd have to pay for it, so it would be piggybacking.
Well, so you've got is the county election, is that on an even year? I can't remember.
Well, I guess they do have.
So they would
Yes,
be,
they're-
so the presidential election comes up on what, 28? So so then that would put the county people on 26 possibly? Because they have county people at the presidential election too, right? They do stuff every 2 years.
So again, the Indiana election cycle, they had it like 3 years, so 18, 19, 20, nothing in 21, 22, 23, 24, nothing in 25, so 20. Yeah, 24 is presidential primary, so there's nothing this year, and then 26 would start over the midterm primary, and 27 would be the municipal primary, small town. I believe, yeah, in general, and then 28 would be the.
Well, I'm thinking they might
So, yeah.
still want us with, I don't know if they want us for presidential election, but they would want us with the county. Because I think we typically are on odd years. Municipal was. We may have to talk to somebody down there at the election.
Yeah, it would be 23 and then.
My term is
27.
27.
Right.
So we'd have our 27, we'd have to select. That's what they're saying about getting us to even do a 1-year term. 27. That's the last of these.
No, Shelley, the comment she was here, that it would be no cost to the county. And obviously with us looking at budget cuts, how can we ensure that that is the case?
Well, and that's
So
that's based on us getting on the general election. I guess. Schedule.
Or
so that
on
we
with the county election.
piggyback off them, so we don't get it.
So essentially that's where the cost was coming from.
Yeah, 'cause we had to run our own.
Right, you have to, you run your own and then they bring the machines, so that's what we're paying for. You're paying for the machines and the people that are there. you know, running them, making sure that everything's running properly. And there may still be a small cost if you piggyback on the another governmental entity, but probably wouldn't be as much as it is when we have it on the road.
I don't know, she didn't. She made it sound like there were other small towns that were considering it or planning to do it, but I don't know, I haven't heard of any others that are switching over.
It hasn't been a topic of discussion yet.
So I don't
Town
know.
manager stuff, that doesn't mean.
I
others
don't
are
know, we
doing
pick
it.
their brains to see what they're thinking, of switching over in the process, or if anybody's done it recently, that's jumping over to nowhere, other pitfall.
Is there a way to look at some of the stuff like a best practice, like you have to switch over to something?
You understand, Sam?
Well,
The
there's,
new thing is.
In the whole state.
right, so
There might be someone somewhere. I just-
our local,
Yeah.
local's always been on an odd year. But other towns are on, all the other towns that I know of are on staggered terms. But the staggered term would have, you'd still probably have two people on one election, don't you think? Cause if you got 4 year. Yeah, cause, well, no, I'd have to look at that, but
Fort Wayne's on you. They're all elected every 4 years, and all the ideas. Every single member of.
Right,
city
because-
government.
local government is always on and on. But they've been talking at the state level that all these elections are gonna go to even years. So that there's
The
less
presidential. election.
elections and
We're
hopefully
talking staggered, they're not staggered,
what you're,
municipal elections.
no, I'm talking about the actual people that are running staggered terms.
Right, but currently municipal elections are not staggered. Everyone gets elected in every community at the same time, all city council, all your mayors,
Not at,
city clerks.
Correct, but not each board member would run at the same time.
not in, I know in Ella, it's, they're separate.
They're already staggered in development.
They're staggered, so 1 year, one person's up, and the next, one person's up, the next one.
So they're not doing it just on the municipal election
No,
year.
No, but they're having,
Even on years also.
right, but they're ending up with 3 or 4 or 5 elections, depending on how they've staggered them. Like they could have staggered 2 and 2 or 3 and 2 or.
Yeah, sure.
Which this would probably be 2 and 1, most likely. So I can reach out to Albion and Willa and see what their staggered terms are. It might say on their website, now this stuff has to be on there.
If it's something we wanna, consider changing over to them, something. And get crafted up and be ready to adopt 26 on the timeline people started. Adopted 26 to create our 1 year term for 27 to get into the 20 jump card. Plus we will stay let's go to.
I prefer being in the office. I want to be scheduled.
So that
I like the way that we do it now.
Well, because that way it's, that people that are showing up are actually people. Because if they don't have the voter rolls right, which they did the last couple of elections. Then they wouldn't let people vote and then. They didn't realize Eastgate was not city.
What's your turnout typically for a Rome City Town Council election? 500, 200?
200.
I'm 200. It wouldn't be unusual to lose a vote by your position by 17 votes. Just a small number.
Sure.
But it's still a loss.
or we decent
Yeah.
percentage of the population that's not.
Yeah.
And for those that are, so don't care.
They don't mind.
Yeah, they just don't go out and vote.
Yeah. It just costs money to rent the machines for that special appeal.
They're looking at that.
I'll look at and see how they do their signature. But I don't see how they're gonna do it to beer meters. I mean, I know why they want to do it, because if you're already going there to vote for the president, then you're most likely gonna vote for your county people and your,
State representatives.
right, and your local, if you're there. Some people might say, no, I'm only voting for one person or two people, and I'm leaving, but most people would probably vote for it. If they get them, in the door. That's what they do. People won't vote, and I think that's why they're trying to change the referendums to even year. So that they're in an election when they're on an election when people are actually voting on something else. They're not just coming out to vote on one item. So I will look into it. Yeah, doesn't.
Next started, new picture of the board, the website.
So we get a new picture to get it to print that new on there.
Okay.
Before you leave for the night.
And in South Bend Drive, the a one-way during the Lakeside Holiday House Walk on November 15th.
So there are two houses in that area that are on the house walk. What we don't want to have happen is South Bend Drive is so narrow. What we don't want to have happen is have somebody, having people going different directions on South Bend when there's no berm really to get off. And
No berm there.
there's no berm. You're gonna be in the lake. I don't want to pick little old ladies up out of the lake.
Yeah.
Is really what it is. So if just during that house walk time, we could make it, like from Lions Drive, just say do not enter. And then have it, Lions Drive from on the south side. If they came in from the north side, coming from town, dropped off at Chodell's. And then the bus and the cars could follow on one way going south through South Bend Drive. We feel like it would be a safer situation. Especially because we do have people coming from all over the county and even people from Angola and Fort Wayne that come to the house walk. And they really are not, familiar with our lake and how the roads go.
Yeah, they wouldn't know that.
So whose driveway is most affected? Edwards and
Edwards, Chodell's,
Giselles.
the two the rental places, well, actually 3 rental places. So there's that peninsula that comes out.
Is that one rented during the?
I don't think it's rented in off season, but the two log homes are there, but they're at the front end of it.
And what's your timeline?
It would be like, if we could do it from just like an hour ahead and an hour behind that thing, it would be from 10 to 4, that would be down to just the one way on that one day.
Have you looked to see if those Airbnbs are rented?
No,
Cause that'll show if they're rented for those weekends,
okay,
It isn't that parking lot,
not the ones that Hal Schaefer owned.
Oh, the two. He doesn't know. Okay.
But
He doesn't know.
I know, he doesn't own them anymore,
past
but,
tense.
I'm pretty sure the one is rented, like monthly rented now.
okay,
They have all street parking. As long as we can get there.
it's just that they would need to know. So-
They could still access it, it's just they need to go, when they
You
leave,
go
they
one
need to
way.
go the long way.
Yeah, have you seen it?
No, it's not used that much, so especially for that period of time.
And does everyone have off-road parking? They have their own driveway.
Yeah,
Oh.
except for
Honestly, I don't
No,
know why it's not one way
I was gonna say-
all year.
Right,
Oh,
But we have looked at that, but
Sure.
the, Edward Chadel's, and at the time it was. They said they can't, if the weather is really icy, they cannot make it up that hill to come out of the drive and go up. So if we put it that way, they didn't want to go, they didn't want it one way from south to north. And then I don't remember what the other reason why they didn't want it from north to south. There was a reason,
It's,
but there was a reason why they didn't want it. So
Maybe my
We're still
changed
here
his
to look
mind.
at.
we didn't pass it. I don't know.
but we're talking about
yeah, just.
one day.
Right.
Right.
Or like a motion to allow that on the household from 10 to 1, this,
10 to 4.
10 to 4.
And when we make sure everybody gets out of there and the houses will close at 3, but that way the workers and everybody will, you know, be able to leave.
We make friendly signs.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask. So, I mean, we can set them out like on Friday, but somebody would need to set them up and take them down.
Obviously, that was most likely.
We'll figure out a way to
I don't worry about them.
get them.
I think we've got committee members that could do it, or the guys that are, you know, like Jim Ostermeyer that's running the bus or whatever. I think we can get it done.
I'm just trying to think about, a temporary stand, put those on. And then you could just like lay them down. Outside the road, you guys can pick them up on that following Monday.
Wait, I need a second on that motion.
Right.
All in favor?
All right,
Aye. From 10 to 4. On
Other,
Yes,
November 15th. New international agreement for Stillman maintenance. You know anything about this one?
Yeah, did he give you the information for it? So it was initially presented that we wouldn't have the cost going forward, but it was actually the first 7 years were covered. And now going into the 8th year, maintenance costs for Stone is no longer covered. And that's our system that makes us with the rest of the county, our CAD system. The new annual maintenance fee will be $1,137.87 for our part. And it goes according to how many users you have on the system. So like Cromwell's would be 500 if they don't have that many users. Kendall's is 20,000 because they have a dispatch center, and more obviously the bill would be 3,000. So you can see it's dependent on size of the department. So that would be an annual cost going forward.
Well, it's something we can't do without.
And you get
I'm gonna need a motion for that. New agreement.
what is it, what is it?
this is our dispatch system.
The communication system.
And the first 7 years were covered by, I don't know, I would assume maybe the county or the state. But now that we're going into the 8th year of using it, that it's the maintenance cost for it is no longer covered.
Or was it the cost, there was no cost, or where did that assumption come
It was
from?
no cost for the first 7 years.
So it wasn't covered.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Presented it that way, but I think it may have been misrepresented initially.
Then motion to accept this program.
Second,
Yeah.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Roberta.
thank you very much.
102 Martin Street, August payment, write off of 68.86.
Yes, so we had David Miller call in, that property went up for sheriff's sale, in August. And it closed in September, so he doesn't feel that he is responsible for the August payment. I did reach out to Bill. He agrees that he probably shouldn't be responsible for that payment, that month he didn't own it. Just wanted to ask for a motion if we could write that off for him more.
You know, you agree with that? All in favor? Please pick up schedule.
Yes, I attached it to your town manager report. So. We start in town. Right for the Halloween, so October 29th, 30th will be in town. The town's second pickup will be November 17th and 18th. South side of the lake will be November 3rd through the 5th. And then their second pickup will be 19th through the 21st. North side of the lake will be November 7th through the 13th. And then November 24th through the 26th. Hopefully we will be done before it snows.
That's always the hope. Or a big win.
Well, big one just makes the last pickup.
More my yard.
Yeah, if they're not at the curb, we can't pick them up.
We're light. Town manager report.
We had 8 meetings for the month, 10 building permits issued in September, 1 pole barn, 1 church addition, 1 new house on the lake, 1 demo. Demo garage, yeah, 2 demo garage. 1 foundation, 1 remodel, where they added a bathroom and a bedroom, 1 screen porch, and 1 house addition with a porch and 2 decks. Plan commission, we did not have a meeting in September, BZA. We had a variance on a height approval that was denied. The street yard setback was approved. And then Dustin and I had a meeting concerning a settlement in Swaney. It's still in the works. Their administrative appeal was tabled for September because we're on that settlement phase. Larry Weisenberger, as far as I know, we're still waiting on the court date on that. We take the agenda for September, the BZA minutes and the legals, just interested party finding fact sheets. Conservancy District, our budget was approved, paid the bills, bounce codes, post gateway, the annual dam inspection went well, no problems. Park board, taped the agenda in the minutes. We had the concert in the park, the Wiseman. They were a really good band, but I think they've decided that we're going to do a September concert anymore. We just don't get the people out for it. I think once Labor Day is past us, we lose our crowd. So they're looking at doing June, July, and August next year. And then the update on the tennis court paving, they're supposed to still try to get that in this fall, but they will not be striping it until the spring next year.
Yeah.
Because it's 2 different companies. One is a paving company and one is a company that does nothing but striping. So hopefully we'll get it done early enough. And the court's usable this spring. Bike trail, just finished up purchasing those few items that we have that leftover money. Noble Trails is working on the trail to Villa and LaGrange County. Still putting down the markings on the pavement at the different roadways, and they're also putting on the little markings to let people know where they're at on the trail. So if they have an accident, they can call in that number to the dispatch, and then they know exactly where they're located on the trail.
Of course, that's such a little.
Yes, they actually just closed on the Moody property
Oh.
finally. So they were talking that they were gonna talk to API, I think. The API or Culver to get quotes on paving that. So they'll pave it from from the curb in there. You kind of see where the rail line would have went straight, but they turned to go up to the farm is there at, was that 350 and 850? It would go straight across there and then come down off the edge of what's now the Piper property. And then go across and connect into that gravel portion. And then come across to Lions Drive to connect into. Yes, the old portion where Ken's property is. So I don't know if they're gonna be able to get that done this fall. They were hoping they could, but it's, everything's weather dependent at this point. But it did take a while to get that parcel, so it's good news.
Not right there.
Chamber has the Lakeside holidays on the 15th of November, and then they have the Christmas tree lighting here at Town Hall on the 14th. And the guys are working on restringing some of the lights on the different decorations, and they'll probably put those up maybe the end of this month. I told them they could do it whenever they wanted to, while the weather was still decent. Brightspeed is still doing their fiber install. We're working on the watershed plant. So the two buildings that are out at the end of Shelley Park, they've been in bad need of repair for a few years. We decided that they needed to look at the block on it because the one building had a lot of cracks and stuff. So we had Jim Wilkinson, he's the one that does our masonry work on all the signs. He came out, he goes, oh yeah, this building's needs some work. So he fixed them all. And then Travis and Scott painted them. So get a chance, drive by them because they did a really nice job on them. And then we found a guy in Kendallville who does the type of roofs that are on those buildings. And he's supposed to be in the end of this week, hopefully, to put new roofs on them. So then we won't have to do anything more with the outside of the building. They might paint them on the inside. So they look much better. They look much better, and Travis also painted the main lift building on Front Street, Harriman. You're going out of Gale Street. You're going out of town. It looks nice. We painted in the same. The light brown on top of the dark brown, and then the green doors. So they'll match with the park buildings. Limberlost Landing. I did not check with Bill, but he is working on an agreement for us to take over that sewer extension. And then I'm working with Josh Lash to get the annexation legal description so that we can move forward with annexing that property. I don't know that we're gonna get it done in time before the tax bills. So I think I have to have it done by March 1st, and I don't think we have enough time to get it done because there's certain restrictions on how many meetings we have to have and how much time has to be between each meeting, so. It is what it is at this point. But we'll get it done. Reviewed surveys and plans for buildings permits, held the grievance hearing for a renter at the housing authority. So the housing authority had a renter that they were evicting, and then she asked for a grievance hearing, so the town is the grievance officers on that. So we set it all up and she didn't show up, so I voted for eviction. Recommended eviction.
Go show up.
Correct. Spoke with the owner of the video store about cleaning that up, so he actually called me once he received his certified letter, and he said he was working on getting someone hired, and I sent him the information for the gentleman that I had come out and look at it. And so he said he was gonna get somebody to do something. I haven't driven by it since it was gone this weekend to see if they did anything. Did anybody happen to notice?
I didn't know it's
Did you
happening.
clean anything up? It's, well, you're so used to seeing it look that way, so you just kind of not,
No, I didn't pay.
you don't even pay attention to it anymore. I'll check it tomorrow, and then I was gonna call him this week anyway, so
What's he doing with it? What's he doing with it?
nothing. Not even taking care of it or mowing it, so.
Nice, actually.
Yes. So, yeah. I mean, there's still time to get it cleaned up before the weather turns, so I'm gonna keep pushing him. Conservancy District had the large sycamore tree in the parking lot down there at Sycamore Park taken out because it was starting to die. And there was limbs falling on people when they're walking through there, and it was just dangerous. But the company that came in and took it out did a really nice job cleaning it up, and can't even tell there was ever a tree there.
They did a great job. They did. Looks fabulous.
I think most
And-
people drive by now and forget there was ever a tree
Yeah,
there.
you
but
can't tell that there was ever a tree there.
It was a big one. And then I had met with a gentleman that was interested in buying a large amount of lots out at Oak Shores, like 2 or 3 different times, but I've never heard back from him, so I'm not sure he was serious about it. And I attended a meeting with NDOT about the repair on the State Road 9 bridge. Plan is to start this November. I think it's just gonna be doing some of the smaller stuff. Maybe some surveying and things, I don't know. But that project probably go through August, and Front Street will be closed down during that project because they're doing that alternating lane shutdown. So that might help some. That's on our businesses on that street, but I've been letting.
Will they
people
be
know
able to
about
go
it.
in the back way?
Yeah, down the alley will be open. So they can get to the liquor store, and Pepperoni was that way. And then they can come around Weston and hit the dog place, I can't remember the name of the dog place, but the dog groomer, and then Karen's and Nancy's place, so they'll just have to, I think once they let the people know the first time, won't be a big issue, but Westlake's, people that go out to Westlake, they'll have to jockey around a little bit and kind of get out there, but,
It won't be nearly as bad as what it was for them.
oh, right. Well, no kidding. I mean, how much traffic went down there? At least the traffic is still gonna be open through on 9.
Yeah.
That was their first thing. Well, we're just gonna close 9 again. I go, no, you're not. God.
We're still gonna be able to go up and down 9.
Yeah, it's gonna
Okay.
have, they're gonna have that traffic light, so they'll
Like
stop
they did on
traffic,
20 going in
let
that
traffic go, and the alternating lane scenario. But the way they have to have so much space for the cars to queue before that light, so that's why they're shutting off Front Street. They'll have to leave Lake Street open, they won't have the choice, but that could be blocked at times too by traffic queuing up, waiting for the light.
Yeah. Just have to wait in line to get down to your street.
Just get 26 over, and hopefully the state will be done with their projects for a few years. That would be lovely. And that's it for me. You want me to do Scott's?
Yeah.
Here. They had 1,042,292 gallons run through the plant, and they outletted 3,148,444 gallons out of the plant. Obviously, you can tell we're going into reduction mode for the winter.
Yeah.
So we have all the space we can have for winter to hold it. We've had 3 call outs and 65 locates. The watershed building, that's, he's got that on there, that they power washed the buildings, primered and sealed them, 2-toned with paint primer, and then sealed the doors painted in green. At Grant Park, they had 2 repairs on a leaking toilet. And boat ramp, they cut down pine tree by the drive for more clearance, so up at the top of the public access, there was that pine tree that was just kind of on the corner,
Yeah.
and you had like a pontoon or a longer boat, it was tough to make that corner. So I told them to take that tree out, and then I still would like for them to cut back that inner curb just a little bit more, so
Yeah,
that there's a
that would be
little
good.
bit.
It's
But we
really
don't
tight.
really have the equipment, but I do have Eshelman Excavating giving me a quote on trying to clean out that pond, some of that sediment that's in there.
Yeah.
And if he does that, he might have a piece of equipment when he's here, that he might be able to scrape that out. And then the guys could go back with the Bobcat or something and,
Yeah.
flatten it out better.
But I've watched them and it's
Yeah,
really,
it's tough to
really
get around
tight
it.
for larger boats and pontoons and to make that curve.
And then at Lakeside, they installed a park bench and poured the concrete pad for it. And they have the equipment put in. If you haven't been by there, they bought a new piece of the equipment with kids can climb on. And, let's see, we have the lift, they replaced the light bulbs along the lake that were burnt out. So we rented a lift for the guys to do the work on do the painting. Did that. What am I stuffing back? At the dog park, they poured a concrete slab for the covered bench that we purchased. And so that was installed. They hauled brush 2 times this month. They trimmed the trees out back here. And they used the lift, they did it. And while they had the lift here, they also hung the signs on the street building. So those have been on for, I don't know, a couple of years now, but we have the signs back up. And Paul said he was gonna charge us rent because the one sign's on his side of the building. I said, no, we're not. And then at the drainage, yeah. At the pond for the public access, there was a big tree that had fallen in there. And we had, the conservative district had the tree taken out. There was a big hole left from all the roots. So the guys filled that with riprap. That's it for him.
All right, for the marshal's office, our vehicle mileage for squad 1 was 926. For squad 2 was 701. For squad 3 it was 817. And for squad 4 it was 1075. Paul worked 160 hours, Dustin worked 116. I had 181, part-timers had 39, and reserves had 30 and a quarter. For our town ordinance violations, we had 2 abandoned vehicles, 1 weed abatement, 2 animals, 3 nuisances. For officer initiated events, we had 62 business checks, 4 extra patrols, 96 park checks, 8 assist other departments, and 8 community policing. We only wrote 4 tickets. We gave out 48 written warnings. Did 1 VIN check, 2 golf cart inspection, 1 hen check. We had 1 animal complaint, 3 suspicious persons, 2 911 calls, 1 driving complaint, 3 found properties, 1 juvenile complaint, 1 welfare check, 1 suspicious activity, 1 accident, 2 civil process, 14 miscellaneous ones, so I'm sure what goes over. 2 disabled vehicles and 1 medic assist. We opened cases for battery on the 11th and theft on the 16th. Meetings attended were drug-free Noble County, Justice and Prevention, out of Paul, Noble County School Safety Commission, also Paul. Town Council meeting on the 15th, also Paul. And then Rome City Elementary trunk or treat meeting on the 26th was Paul and Rich. For training attended or conducted on the 2nd through the 4th, U.S. Attorney Southern District of Indiana Fall Conference. Paul went to that. He attended a webinar on the 16th for NIVERS, which is part of the reporting on our CAD system. On the 16th, patrol rifle simulator, we did kneeling and standing. Paul, Dustin, myself, and Rich. On the 18th, he went to vehicle extraction training, evening Paul. On the 30th, we did shooting and moving around vehicles. That was Paul, Dustin, myself, and Rich. And we completed the Moyer State Mandates online training, which is 12.5 hours. Dustin, myself, Chris, and Gary completed those so far. On the 6th, the special events and activities attended, did Rifle Recovery, drug-free Noble County, did traffic control, Paul and Rich did that. On the 13th, civilian firearm safety program, which had 8 participants, was conducted. Paul, Chris, Kevin, and Rich did that. On the 13th, Dealers to Disciples 5K walk, traffic control was conducted by Paul and Rich for that. On the 14th, Pilgrim walk from Kendallville to the Patroness of America Center. Paul and Rich did traffic control for that. And then on the 20th, the Common Grace Ministries 5K. Paul, myself, and Rich did traffic control for that. For notes, on the 11th, Squad 1 went to Max Platt for an oil change and tire rotation as well as new wipers. On the 14th, LaGrange City used the firearms range. On the 19th, The leasehold inventory was completed as government controlled equipment. On the 22nd, Squad 4 went to Shepherd's in Auburn for an oil change and tire rotation. On the 30th, Dustin was involved in a vehicle accident with Squad 2 at the wastewater treatment plant. And then also on the 30th, Squad 4 went to Shepherd's in Auburn for front end repairs.
And have you heard any more about Squad 2?
For Dustin, for Squad 2, we're still waiting on the insurance adjuster to come out and look at it for a determination on replacement.
Or lengthy wait?
Yeah.
I put everything in the next morning as soon as I got in, so. It's just waiting then.
Also, as a side note, Squad 4 that went down last week, it just shut off and wouldn't turn back on. It got taken to Shepherd's by Lakeland, and they were saying possible fuel pump. So they have that squad right now.
Okay.
We're down to 2 squad cars for all 3 of them. For our incident analysis and the town of Rome City, we had 163. In contrast, in June, we had 227, July was 233, and August is 210, so we're definitely dropping down. In our area, we had 104 that we responded to. June, we had 128, July 119, August 102, so that's pretty steady. The sheriff's department responded in town to 34 calls. I'll put a breakdown at the bottom there, the different calls that there were. In contrast, June had 26, July had 29, and August had 32. Then again, in our area, the sheriff's department responded to 55 calls in our area. And he's got a printout, a breakdown of all the calls that they actually took care of.
How's our speed sign doing?
Beat sign. So our, it's still in the same spot. They're on Front Street, so it's a good place for it. Our average speed was 25.63 miles per hour. There's a minimum speed of 5 and a maximum speed of 68. I was not there when that happened.
I have a video of it.
You do have a video of it?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you could get that. I'd be interested in speaking.
Can you see the plate numbers?
He goes by, they're going by so fast by the time they hit our place.
Is there
Like they've done
consistency?
it and they're already going that fast before they get to the week.
Is there any consistency on what time it is where we could have them be out there?
We have some repeat offenders we could probably nail down to before work and afterward.
It looks like the majority of activity is right at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It really dies off after 6 o'clock. But we had an average volume per day of 633 vehicles, with a total volume for the month of 18,991 vehicles down Front Street coming into town.
Can you guys start being around that time, that it's up? Try to spend more time now?
I will let Paul know because he's the one that's on there in that time. I will try to get down there at the beginning of my shift while there's still a higher amount of activity.
Thank you.
Very good.
I just had 92 miles for mileage for September, just going behind the post office and going to Albion. I did have one thing that's not on here before I get too far, is the sheriff is getting installed on the 30th.
Claims presented with funds. $71,849.86. Sewer operating costs, $18,950.99.
Make a motion that we pay the claims presented for payment.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do you have any questions, anybody? A motion for adjournment?
Um,
All in favor?
I sent you an email on that. Limberlost? No. Yeah, Limberlost.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Normally on those, if they want to change the restrictions, they would have to like